it is a fact that if people have been in government in the past and they have been part of the problem, they have done things that are not correct, then one wonders whether they would be the people to really instigate change. When you come into politics, like my experience, I said, I want to really work. I am from this place. I know how poor people are. I know the problems that people are. I've gone to primary school here and I've grown here. So I can only come here to, with others, try to do what is going to uplift these people, and that is why we had this business with the MCS where they wanted money. We had a standoff until even they were shooting, wanting to kill, because we are saying this money is not for us. We have our salaries. So it's what you choose, because if you now parliament, you see, when you want to go there, you go to the political party. And most of the times, you go to the political party of your tribe's people, because the parties from independence was structured that way. Initially, Kanu was of the major tribes, so-called major tribes, Kadu, the smaller tribes, minority tribes. And because even before colonialism, parties were never allowed to be on national level. It was from 1960. And, people get their districts, a tribal district. Even today, many of our counties are tribal counties. One ethnic group dominating in these 47, apart from Nairobi, maybe Mombasa, a few of those uh, urban places. So when you go to parliament through, let me say, for example, I go to parliament through Wiper. First of all, before they can give me a certificate through those nominations, and most of them, there isn't like real election, democracy, somehow you get pointed out. They must make sure that you know that you are not going to be your own person, and you are going to be very loyal to the party, and even when the party needs money, you are going to get money for it, sometimes through the CDF, sometimes unorthodox ways. So when you ask those parliamentarians to do things which defy these political parties, they are not going to be very interested in doing that. And and even when now they come to the national level, they find the CDF, they misuse it, they're allowed to do that. Then there is a file. Then anytime somebody is very vocal, they are told there is this file which says you have mismanaged CDF. And that is why, even in terms of the NADOC reforms, there is a desire to make parliament, to make CDF now become constitutional through a constitutional amendment after, the courts, through TISA taking, the matter to court, up to Supreme Court, saying that this thing is not, you can't execute and then be the one to hold, people accountable. So even when the young people now, Gen Zs and Ys, are saying that they are going into politics, which is a good thing, is a very, very good thing. But now, which political party are they going to use? Because when they go to these political parties, they are being compromised. They are going to be told, welcome here. These are our rules. This is what we behave, how you behave. And then you get people who are visionary or people of promise begin to get bent. And you can watch that, because even the young people who go into these parties, people who are thought to be of promise, they change. And actually, and this is something that I've experienced personally, if you do politics differently, if you want to kind of demonstrate that it is possible to be pro people, you become an enemy. And then you are targeted. They say you came to the wrong place. We need the media not to cover you much. We don't want to bring you out. So, you are there. You can be there with your people if you believe in them too much. And so it kind of becomes a problem. So, when Ruto was campaigning recently, there was like a different Ruto. Let me say there was Ruto number one. Somebody who is pleading with the people, somebody who is pro people, somebody who is saying, bottom up, and until many people thought that, okay, now this looks interesting. Again, when he was when he was the deputy president first term, he was like the president now, because first term, he's there, he's doing, whatever it is. So you can see this ability of politicians to be one thing and then to be another thing, and so the people get confused. Who exactly is this person? And that's why sometimes they can say, "We think we should try him." Is a good fellow. Can we clean the old guard? You see, many times, and this has happened in Africa, like after the Arab Spring, the young people, toil. They get out the old guard, the ones who are now in government. But even those who are in the opposition are still from the same cloth. So they replace the old guard and they become the old guard. Not become, they because they were the old guard in opposition and the old guard in government. So that then the young people say now, but now there is no change and there is frustration. So unless, like what was said, like people accept that when now you get into the next in 2027, we must have this rule: you don't do business. If you want to do business, go and do business somewhere else. If we can enforce that rule will really help us, I think, tremendously. In some countries, if you get into politics and you're in business, there's a parastatal to take care of your business. Not even your spouse, not even relatives, or you close shop until you finish your term, and then you can go back to your business. Because that Degwa thing, which said people can start doing business with government, that really injured us tremendously. The private sector is crowded. The politicians are doing most of the businesses, and it doesn't, assist. So this idea of cleaning house, it is really like when people offer themselves, the citizen should be able to sit you down and say, okay, you want to be MP, MCA, you want to be whatever. Tell us, what is it that you want to do? What have you done in the past? We know this about you. Is it true that you have done these things? So that there's an interrogation. It's not just the party to say this person is fit, even when people know that there are many, many problems. But it is a fact that if people have been in government in the past and they have been part of the problem, they have done things that are not correct, then one wonders whether they would be the people to really instigate change. But we have to agree that just like we have said, the church has a hold on the people, particularly that negative church, if I can call it that. The politicians have also a hold through the politics, through these parties of tribes and so on. Unless something systemic happens so that the people get shocked and they get out of this business of believing, actually being abused serially, and then being glad that they are being abused and bringing back the abusers, because maybe they feel some joy from being abused. Chacha said, "Did you not steal enough?" You see, when you come into politics, like my experience, I said I want to really work. I am from this place. I know how poor people are. I know the problems that people are. I've gone to primary school here and I've grown here. So I can only come here to, with others, try to do what is going to uplift these people. And that is why we had this business with the MCS, where they wanted money. We had a standoff until even they were shooting, wanting to kill, because we are saying this money is not for us. We have our salaries. So it's what you choose, because if you choose that's what you want to do, that is what you want to do, and you do it, and you have, there was point of, you have your what are my values? if I wanted to just be rich, like some of my students that I have taught are billionaires, I would have followed that path and I would have a lot of money. But I know that there are people who have a lot of money, hardly have families, hardly really have joy, but they have a lot of money, and on the surface, you may think they are doing very well, and it isn't so. So it's really what you choose, particularly if also you are motivated from your faith. You know, public, like when we had those problems with the MCAs, it was actually the people who rescued us because we introduced the matter and said, this is the problem. What do you want us to do? And then they arrived at the decision that let us dissolve this government if you people can't work for us. And so we saw our public participation was really very important from the grassroots, from the village, you know, all or almost 3,600 villages. And it was a good thing because people knew what was happening. We were trying to do civic education. And, I remember even one day the MCA saying, civic education, don't put money here because, it's not a building. Do something that the people can see. So they were clever because they realized that when the people have knowledge, they can do some of the funny things that they want to do. And think get for people, that government must recruit the people now into being the ones who exercise sovereign power, the ones who really are present in leadership, in governance, because then the people will help you to make it difficult for those who want to sabotage you to do that.